this. Once you give ASIO the very vast powers it's got, you are courting trouble. Now, ASIO is important because ASIO's powers that Nick just referred to can be invoked by getting a search or by getting a warrant. They don't have to go to a judicial officer like any other law enforcement agency. They can simply ask the Attorney-General. Now, earlier, I think Kelly made the point that the Inspector General of Security oversees these things, but IGIS only looks at the process. They don't look at the substance of the problem which was being dealt with.
What about these specifics that this questioner is talking about? The ASIO under the current bill would be allowed to, quote, add, copy, delete or alter data on a citizen's computer.
I can buy into that if
you don't. You don't need to think about it very long to see that there's obvious problems with it.
There's a problem with it, but there's also... I can actually understand when he said why. The why is that cyber and space are increasingly enabling factors in both the conduct of conventional war, irregular war and terrorism. And I think the burden of what that gentleman's question was just about probably goes to the heart of a capability in the cyber area, which is to essentially change information that may be on a hostile system without their knowing that's happened. Because all of us use cyber and space every day. Your global positioning system is provided by the United States military, whether you like them or not. Space does all kinds of stuff with our mobile phones. Everything we rely on, our society is incredibly connected. We can't just take cyber and space off the table because it's being used by our adversaries. So I think what they're looking at there is a capability that allows people to engage in cyber attack. That's what I'm inferring from that power. I've not read this bill, I have to say.
I have read it, and it would allow ASIO agents to change data on a person's hard drive.
A target computer of an Australian citizen?
Yeah, it's the equivalent of planting evidence.
I completely understand that, but it also clearly, in the capability this gentleman's talking about, is about removing or changing messaging or changing storage of data that may be being used in a hostile way, and hopefully without the cognition of the person who's doing it.
Let's hear from Kelly O'Dwyer. So I see she was shaking her head.
Well, look,
there.
I don't accept the premise of the question. Certainly ASIO can have a look at materials unbeknownst to the person whose materials they might be looking at, and they can go in, and it's under warrant, so there are some protections around that.
But your own law says, quote, add, copy, delete or alter. I mean, add, delete or alter information inside a citizen's computer. Isn't that the power we're talking about?
Well, my understanding is that the premise of the question is not correct, and instead what ASIO can do is they can gather information that an individual may have on various systems, including their electronic systems, and that they can gather that information unbeknownst to the individual. They can access that if they are concerned, for instance, that that individual may be engaged in some activity that could cause harm to the nation or to citizens.
Is this one of the problems that we find when new laws and new powers like this are brought in or contemplated being brought in without a proper debate about what they actually mean? Because we seem to have a difference of opinion about that.
Well, we have a difference of opinion, but it has been properly oversighted. There has been an inquiry.
But you still haven't explained those words.
Yes, well.
She didn't know they were there. Well, and the premise is right.